Learn English through story. The Architect's Dilemma. In the ancient city of Elim, known for its breathtaking temples and intricate stone carvings, there lived an architect named Thaddeus. Renowned for his genius and attention to detail, Thaddeus was responsible for some of the city's most awe-inspiring structures. His work was praised far and wide, and he was revered as a master of his craft. However, despite his success, Thaddeus was a man burdened by the weight of his ambition and the expectations that came with it. One day, the ruler of Elim, Queen Aeliana, summoned Thaddeus to her palace. The queen, known for her wisdom and grace, had decided to commission a grand new temple dedicated to the goddess of wisdom, Athena. This temple was to be the crowning jewel of Elim, a testament to the city's prosperity and devotion. Thaddeus, Queen Aeliana began as they met in the grand hall. "You are the finest architect in the land, and I trust only you with this most sacred task. This temple must be perfect, a reflection of the goddess herself. It should inspire reverence and awe, and it must endure for centuries as a symbol of our people's devotion." Thaddeus bowed deeply, honored by the commission. "Your Majesty, it will be my greatest work. I will pour all my skill and knowledge into this temple, and it will be a monument that will stand the test of time." The queen nodded, her expression serious. "Remember, Thaddeus, perfection is not just in the beauty of the structure but in its purpose. This temple is not only for us but for future generations. It must embody the wisdom and virtue of Athena. Take all the time you need, and do not hesitate to ask for anything you require." Thaddeus left the palace with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The queen's words echoed in his mind as he began planning the temple. He knew that this project would be his magnum opus, the pinnacle of his career, but the pressure to achieve perfection weighed heavily on him. As he worked on the designs, Thaddeus became increasingly obsessed with every detail. He envisioned a temple with towering columns, intricately carved friezes, and a dome that would rival the heavens. But no matter how many revisions he made, he felt that something was missing. The temple, in all its grandeur, lacked the essence that would make it truly divine. One evening, as Thaddeus sat in his study, surrounded by sketches and blueprints, an old friend named Callias visited him. Callias was a philosopher, a man who had spent his life studying the nature of truth and wisdom. Seeing Thaddeus in such a state, he approached him with concern. "Thaddeus, my friend, you look troubled. What weighs so heavily on your mind?" Thaddeus sighed, pushing aside a stack of papers. "It's the temple, Callias. I have been working day and night, but I cannot seem to capture the essence of what it should be. The design is perfect in form, but it lacks something deeper, something that truly honors the goddess." Callias sat down across from Thaddeus, his expression thoughtful. "Perfection in form is not the same as perfection in purpose, Thaddeus. Perhaps you're too focused on the structure itself and not enough on what it represents." Thaddeus frowned, trying to understand his friend's words. "What do you mean?" Callias smiled gently. "The temple is meant to honor Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Wisdom is not found in flawless marble or grand designs, it is found in understanding, in the balance between thought and action, in the way we live our lives. If you want the temple to truly honor her, it must reflect these principles, not just in its design, but in its purpose." Thaddeus pondered Callias's words long after his friend had left. He realized that in his pursuit of architectural perfection, he had neglected the true purpose of the temple. He had been so focused on impressing the queen and the people of Elim that he had forgotten the deeper meaning behind his work. Determined to approach the project with a renewed perspective, Thaddeus visited the site where the temple was to be built. He spent days observing the land, the way the sunlight filtered through the trees, the sound of the nearby river, and the patterns of the stars at night. He spoke with priests and scholars, learning more about the teachings of Athena and how her wisdom guided the lives of the people. With this newfound understanding, Thaddeus returned to his designs. He simplified the structure, focusing less on grandiosity and more on harmony with the natural surroundings. The columns were still majestic, but now they were spaced in a way that allowed light to play through them, creating an ever-changing pattern on the temple floor. The friezes depicted scenes of everyday life, illustrating how wisdom could be found in even the simplest actions. The dome was designed to align with the constellations, serving as a reminder of the goddess's watchful presence over the city. As the construction began, Thaddeus ensured that the workers understood the significance of what they were building. He emphasized that every stone laid, every carving made, was an act of devotion, not just to the queen or the city, but to Athena herself. The workers, inspired by Thaddeus's vision, poured their own dedication into the project, and the temple began to take shape, not just as a structure, but as a living embodiment of wisdom. Years passed, and the temple was finally completed. On the day of the grand unveiling, the people of Elysium gathered in great numbers. Queen Aeliana arrived with her court, eager to see the masterpiece that Thaddeus had created. As the queen stood before the temple, she was struck by its beauty, but also by its simplicity. It was not the towering monument she had envisioned, but it was perfect in a way she had not expected. The temple blended seamlessly with the landscape, and there was a serenity about it that resonated deeply with her. Thaddeus led the queen through the temple, explaining the significance of each element, how it reflected the teachings of Athena. The queen listened intently, moved by the thoughtfulness and depth behind the design. When they reached the center of the temple, where a simple yet elegant statue of Athena stood, Queen Aeliana turned to Thaddeus. "This temple is not what I imagined, Thaddeus, but it is everything it should be. You have captured the essence of wisdom, not through grandeur, but through understanding and purpose. This is truly your greatest work." Thaddeus bowed deeply, his heart filled with pride and relief. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I realize that true perfection lies not in how much we add, but in how much meaning we can convey. I am honored that you see the value in this temple, as it was meant to be more than just a monument. It was meant to inspire and guide us all." The Temple of Athena became a revered place in Elysium, not just for its beauty, but for the wisdom it embodied. It became a place of learning, where philosophers, scholars, and citizens gathered to discuss and reflect on the teachings of Athena. The simplicity and harmony of the structure served as a reminder that true wisdom comes not from seeking to impress others, but from understanding the deeper purpose of our actions. Thaddeus continued to work as an architect, but he never again sought to create something purely for the sake of grandeur. He understood now that his greatest works were those that served a higher purpose, that brought meaning and understanding to those who experienced them. As the years went by, the Temple of Athena remained a symbol of the wisdom that guided the people of Elysium. And Thaddeus, once driven by the desire for perfection, found peace in knowing that his legacy would not be measured by the scale of his buildings, but by the impact they had on the lives of others. In the end, the true measure of success was not in the accolades or the fame, but in the fulfillment of a higher purpose, in creating something that would endure not just in stone, but in the hearts and minds of those who experienced it. And in that, Thaddeus had indeed achieved perfection. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoy, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.